Welcome everyone. Here's a quick overview of the Brushes panel and the Brush tool in Illustrator. We're going to start off with the Brush tool. And the shortcut for the Brush tool is the letter B. Sits over here in your toolbar. And with the Brush tool, this allows you to choose from 5 different brushes that we have in our Brushes panel. And your Brushes panel can be called up under the Window menu under Brushes. Now your brush panel may not look like mine, and that's because under the Brushes drop-down menu, I have this set up as a list view. The thumbnail view is what it normally looks like when you call it up. I find the list view to be far more helpful because it calls out all of my brushes and it shows me the style of the brushes on the right-hand side. And we're going to get into each one of those in a separate video covering the specifics of every brush. The specifics of the Brush tool are quite simple. To call up your options for the Brush tool, go to your toolbar and double-click. When you have your brush options coming up, you can set your fidelity to be accurate or smooth. When I set something to be accurate, and I take my Brush tool and I begin to create, accurate is going to give me a very accurate rendition of whatever I create on my artboard. If I double-click and set the fidelity to smooth, it will not smooth out everything that I have already created. It will simply allow me to create a smooth rendition of my brush tool from here on out. So if I go in and I'm very squiggly, you'll notice how much it smooths out that brush stroke. So depending on what you like in terms of accuracy and smoothness, you can set that, and that will create the accuracy or the smoothness from everything you create from this point on. It will not go back and smooth out or make more precise as you go. So a few other options that we have here. Filling new brush strokes with a fill instead of actually applying a stroke color to it. I don't find this to be super helpful. And the keep selected just simply means when you're done with your brush, it keeps that object selected that you just painted. Don't know if that's really helpful at all either. You can go in and you can edit selected paths when you get within a certain amount of pixels, and that happens when you go in. And if I were to hold down my command on a Mac or control on the PC, I can then go in and select my object and still have the brush tool selected. You notice I didn't go over to my selection tool. I just held down Command or Control. This allowed me to select it. And then if I decide to go in and paint, it then allows me to edit that if I get within a certain amount, certain distance, which I have set here at 12 pixels. Don't know how useful that is, but it's there as an option. Now let's talk about the different styles of brushes that we have. We have 5 different styles of brushes. We have calligraphic brushes, which is indicated here by the green brush. We have scatter brushes, which is indicated by these boxes right here. We've got art brushes, which is going to be this kind of cool, funky pattern, and that's indicated by the banner. And then we have our bristle brushes, which is indicated by these little squiggly lines and this style right here. And then lastly, our pattern brushes. Now, interestingly enough, when you go to your Brushes drop-down panel and you create a new brush, only 3 out of the 5 brushes are available for you to create a new brush. And the reason why is because calligraphic brushes and bristle brushes do not require you to have anything created on your artboard in order to create a new calligraphic or bristle brush. Scatter brushes and art brushes do require you to have created something on the artboard. Interestingly enough, pattern brushes are here that you can select, but you really do need to create something before you create a pattern brush. So, not sure what their thinking is with that. So if you call up a new brush and you find your scatter brush and art brush are grayed out, that's because you need to create something first and have it selected before you go in and create these brushes. Now, simple application of the brush. If you go in and you create any shape. Now, you don't need to use the brush tool in order to apply brushes. In fact, I can simply create a shape, and I can go in and I can apply a basic brush to it, an oval, so a calligraphic brush, something that's going to be flat. I can apply a scatter brush, I can apply an art brush, I can apply my paintbrush, and then I can go in and apply my pattern brush. Okay? So I don't need to use the paintbrush to actually go in and create or apply this content. If I have an open path or a closed path, makes no difference. I can simply apply any type of brush that I'd like on here and be able to see the results. If you're not good at creating brushes or you just like to see a whole set of brushes, go down to the bottom of your brushes panel and click on your library icon. This will call up a ton of preset brushes here already built into Illustrator. So you can go in and choose all sorts of different fun stuff. I always like the grunge brush vector pack. It's going to call up its separate brush floating window. And here is just a whole bunch of brushes that you can create or apply to anything that you've drawn in Illustrator. They're all right there. You can select libraries from any open library panel, or you can select your libraries from your brushes panel here. Check out all of these that are preloaded into Illustrator. It can be a lot of fun. Now, if you are a tablet user, there's very specific things that you can do with a tablet with brushes, pressure sensitivity, angle of the stylus, and many other options that we're going to show you. This pretty much wraps up just a quick overview of brushes, and now we're going to get into each individual brush, how to set them up, and how to set your preferences, and how to stylize these, and all the differences between them.